and then they would jump this corner right here where it's easy to jump, grab the smallest goat they could, which is the easiest one to pick up and give to another person right over here on the fence. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I'm Mike with Fowler Family Farm. We're gonna walk out here with the goats and talk about a real trespasser. He stole 2 of my goats. Almost 100% certain I had someone steal 2 of my goats in the past week and a half. Let me go feed them some grain, let them eat just a little treat. It's only 1 scoop for quite a few goats. So there's not gonna get much, but it's gonna keep them interested in me feeding them, me being their shepherd basically. So let me go through the gate and feed them and we'll talk about this. Goats are looking pretty good right now, for the most part. That's one of Brennan's goats. All these right in here are all my goats. That one there is Brennan's goat. That one over there is Brennan's too. All right, oh gosh, y'all watch it. Let's go over here and feed these goats real quick. Just a quick treat, nothing special. Yeah, y'all already know, don't you? This is like this is really hard to do when you got so many goats. I don't know how much of this y'all are actually getting to see. It's not much at all, y'all. So yes, I am missing 2 goats. So let me tell you a quick story before I talk about the 2 goats missing. About 2 weeks ago-ish, maybe a little, maybe instead of 14 days, maybe it was around 16, 17 days ago, I don't know. I was on the front porch and I noticed all my goats were up against the fence line on the county road back here, right behind us. And I heard a fairly loud truck and it was barely moving. I got up, I walked towards down the hill a little bit where I could see the road, and that truck was going 1 to 2 miles an hour, and then it would stop, and it was right in line with my goats. It's an old beat up white truck, and then it would go 1 or 2 miles, and then maybe like literally 2 or 3 feet, and it would stop. And it did this for like probably 30 to 40 seconds before I yelled for the goats. And y'all know how I yell, "Goaty goats," and the goats come running, right? So they came running towards me and the truck drove off. So I think he noticed that I was paying attention and I called for my goats. Well, about, I don't know, not too long after that, I mentioned that I was missing a goat in here, and then I go, oh, I realized that it was over with Brendan. Well, actually later that day I went and checked, and that goat was actually one of Brendan's goats. So my goat was actually missing. And it was my smallest goat in here, which she was smallest goat in here, but she was still about 70 pounds. She wasn't small by any means, but she was my smallest goat in here. And I realized that, and I looked all over the farm for this goat, everywhere. No trace of this goat whatsoever, okay? So I started thinking, well, maybe when all my goats were out, she just got lost and didn't get back in with my goats. Then I started going back on some of my videos that I didn't post for you guys. It was just videos that stuff I don't use. And I noticed she was actually in here. So she was actually missing. So then fast forward about a week and we come out. I shoot another video and this one I actually posted, and I showed you guys my goats and stuff, and I look in the video, I look and I see one of my other goats is in there, but she's not in my pasture now. She's not in this paddock. And so I'm like, wait a minute, something's going on here. I've got 2 goats missing, and both of them are my smallest goats. Like, they're both around the 70-pound range, maybe 60 to 70 pounds. Let me turn you around and show you this goat. Same size as this goat right here. Actually born the same time as this goat right here. These 2 goats right here, same size as these 2 goats. Well, it just so happens if you take these 2 goats, out of all my goats that are in this paddock right now, the goats that are this size, these 2 goats, and I've actually Starlight and York, I've got about 5 right now that are that same size. If you take them to the sale right now, they'll actually pull more money than any of my other goats in here. It's because of their size. This size right here, Starlight, I think y'all can see her. That size right now is your most valuable size when you take a goat to the sale. So you would think, you know, some of y'all are probably thinking, well, why would someone steal your smallest goats? Why wouldn't they steal your biggest goats? You know, if my theory is right, they're selling them to go make money. And so I'm going to ask my neighbors. I've got several neighbors around that are raising the same goats, Kiko goats. So over the course of a couple of days, I'm going to drive up to those farms and ask them if they're missing some of their goats as well. Because they have some goats that are the same size, you know. Next breeding season, you know, everybody around here has got goats around the same size because you're rotating your goats through. So I'm curious to see if they're missing goats as well. There's no sign whatsoever of any kind of predator issue. I got Silas in here. If a coyote even tries to come over here, he's not going to be able to carry off a 70-pound goat. None of my goats will go under any of these fences. There's no area in this paddock that's anything can get under bigger than 15 pounds. I mean, if you're a 15-pound animal, you might be able to get under the fence. But if you're 70, you're not getting a goat through under that fence. Plus, Silas would have kept a coyote away. Would it keep a person away? I don't know, unfortunately. That's one of the drawbacks about being friendly with your LGDs. If you're friendly with your livestock guardian dogs, sometimes they treat every person as friendly and not the enemy, you know what I mean? So that could be an issue. I may need to check on that. I need to bring a stranger over here that's never been on my property and see how Silas reacts, is what I need to do. Now, Yelena, on the other hand, I know she barks at people she doesn't know, but Silas, I'm not so sure. So we're going to take a quick look around the property real quick, just so I can show you where I think this may have happened. Something quick and easy that they could have done. This is just a theory still, and then we'll come right back over here in the shade and talk about it. Hi, Coconut. You look cute. So that's Cinnamon, and that's her 2 babies from 2 years ago. Sugar and Nutmeg, I believe is what we named them. There's Crybaby, Miss Crybaby. She's my oldest goat on the farm, her and Oreo. We got them back in 2018. They're great goats. I love Crybaby, she's great. She was a crybaby when we got her though. That's why we called her Crybaby. Okay, so all the goats are done eating already. So we're gonna fill their water up all the way. Now they always have access to the pond, and they do actually use the pond now. When I first brought goats home, I couldn't get them to go to the pond at all. They would not even go down there whatsoever. But I guess they've gotten so used to it, and all the upcoming goats just do what the previous goats do. Or the oldest goats, and so now they all use the pond. They'll go down there to drink, but they try not to step in it whatsoever, but they will go down there to drink. It's kind of nice. That way, if this ever does go dry, they still have the pond that they can go access. Ain't that right, Starlight? Yeah, that's right. All right, y'all enjoy. So I did give them electrolytes a couple of days ago in there. Gave them 4 bags of electrolytes. I've got probably 8 more bags in there. I'll probably let them drink through this water, and then the next one give them more, probably tomorrow I'll give them more electrolytes. The cow's yelling at me, wants me to come feed him, and I probably will here in a minute. His butcher date is 10 days from now. Actually 11 days from now, so. All right, so my fence across the whole property looks like this. Like that's touching the ground, y'all. Nothing's getting under that. Not a coyote, not a goat, maybe a turtle, something like that. And it looks like this all over the property. So it's 102. Today's high is 104. Tomorrow's high is 106. I'll put a little sheet right up here showing you our temperatures. Man, I think tomorrow will be 15 days in a row over 100 if I'm correct. But it's so hot out here. I'm gonna take you to where I think the problem is and talk about it so I don't have to walk and talk at the same time. Okay, so this is the corner of our property. This is my neighbor's property right here, obviously. And this might be the loosest part of our fence. But you see, there's still hardly any space for anything to get under. But what I think happened, so my goats were right in here when I noticed it that one day. And you can see the house. That's where I was. And the goats were right up here. So I was thinking that this truck, or whoever was in this truck, could have been trying to feed treats to the goats. Now this is just a theory. I don't have proof of this. Kind of feeding them for a few days to get them used to him, or them. And then they would jump this corner right here where it's easy to jump, grab the smallest goat they could, which is the easiest one to pick up and give to another person right over here on the fence. Put it in the truck, drive off. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention the truck, the bed of the truck had like y'all have seen those, it's kind of like a large dog crate, but super large, all iron. It was made out of iron instead of the crate material. And you could put animals, livestock in it. So I had one of those in it. Unfortunately, I don't have any cameras in this area, but that's gonna change. I'm gonna put some cameras up over here. The problem is the goats are always over here eating. So I'm constantly gonna get pictures and video. If I move it to video, I'm constantly gonna get video. Maybe I should just try to video the road to see if anyone stops along the road. Maybe I won't pick up as much video. All I'll pick up is us driving down the road and our neighbors, and then whoever it could be. I've walked this entire paddock, and it's about 3 acres, more or less. And there's no sign there's no blood. So I haven't seen, there would be nothing coming over here and attacking it, trying to kill it. And whatever tried to kill a goat over here would probably try to eat it over here, because they're not gonna be able to carry any of these goats over the fence or under the fence. So, I don't know, it's just, times are getting bad. And another thing, I'm gonna get under the shade real quick. Another thing, Tanya did some research, and she saw some posts where people were getting their chickens stolen in our area. Like in not our neighbors, but in this county, basically. I think chickens getting stolen might be more on the common side than the goats getting stolen. Are they still in these chickens and goats and all this? Are they still in them because times are getting hard, they're hungry, they don't have a job, they need the money? I mean, why are they still in these all of a sudden? I've never had a problem of theft out here on my animals. And maybe this has been a problem always, and it's just now coming around to me. I don't know. I probably just need to ask some of the other farmers around here. I could see where your animal might get out and walk the street and someone might pick it up. But for your animals to never be able to get out of here, like they've never been able to escape this paddock, ever. They've never jumped over, they've never gone through. I mean, for the past, I've had this fence for almost 4 years. I'm sorry, I've had this fence for almost 3 years, and I've never had one of my goats get out of this fence. So I don't have any reason to think they escaped, but I do have every reason to think that they were stolen. And this is a true trespasser. This isn't, the neighbor's dog walking across the field and calling it a trespasser, which that is a trespasser, I get it, but I don't have any evidence is the problem. I don't have any proof. Not that I want to have proof, because that means they've stole it, and I don't want to come up with proof later, because that means they've stolen another one, and it's something that's probably not going to be able to be, I'm probably not going to be able to locate these people. I'd have to get a tag of some sort. So let me turn you around and show you this gate. Okay, so as you can see, that's the only gap in the gate, really. I don't even think a baby goat would fit through there, a newborn. Maybe, possibly a newborn. So the goat didn't escape through the gate. I wouldn't suspect my neighbor over here at all. He is into cows, and he's way too busy with his own cows and donkeys and stuff and he wouldn't need he wouldn't need goats. So I wouldn't suspect him at all. Actually, I don't suspect any of my neighbors. All my neighbors are good. I just think this is a unfortunate trespassing issue. But we're going to keep an eye on it for sure. So we're going to go back over where all the goats are, and I want to count them again. And I want to count all my small ones. I did mention in the last video that Brendan had a sick goat. That goat didn't make it. That goat's been sick for about 2 months now. And we actually pulled her babies off of her to try to give her a break. She just didn't make it. We doctored her up quite a bit. Electrolytes. We've been giving the goats electrolytes, by the way. So if you guys raise goats or livestock, when you have these 100-degree days over and over and over, you really need to be persistent on trying to put in some electrolytes with their water. And that's what we've done. So, but let me take you over here again, and we'll start looking at the goats one more time. By the way, I've looked through all this tall grass as well that has not been cut yet. And this is a future video, actually. I'm going to talk about why we cut up here in the middle of the summer. But I've looked through all this. There's nothing there. There's no dead goat in there or anything like that. Okay, these 3 right here are Brendan's. And if you remember in one of my last videos, I told you Brendan had 4 goats over here. Well, the other goat was the all brown one. It was actually the dominant goat out of these 4. But it had been laying under that tree for a long time. It wouldn't be with the herd. We couldn't get it better. We couldn't get it well. It would do okay. It would walk around here and there. Just wasn't doing good. So I should have 7 of these smaller goats. That's 1. That's coconut. That's 2. That's caramel. 3 York. 4 nutmeg, I think. 5 Starlight. Yeah, and then 6, 7. So that is actually root beer. That's Bottle Cap's baby, root beer. So these 2 are sugar and nutmeg. So that is 7. And they're Cinnamon's babies. So the one I'm missing, well, York's using the bathroom while we're videoing her. The one I'm missing is nutmeg's, golly, not nutmeg, cream soda and root beer. So I'm missing cream soda. Root beer is here. So Bottle Cap and Cinnamon both had twin girls that same year, and they came out the same colors. Both of them had a white and a brown goat. If y'all remember right, this is the one that broke her leg. She's healed up completely. She's perfectly healthy. So look at this goat. And then look at this brown goat. They're like identical. I think the other one might be slightly darker. But then Cinnamon had this one and the white one. Well, Bottle Cap right here had the same thing. She had a brown one and a white one. And for a long time, it was hard to tell them apart. And it still is, actually. It's hard to tell them apart. The 2 white ones got easier because cream soda became a little more off-white than white. So right now, I'm good with my goats. I know I'm not missing any further goats, but we are going to be vigilant on this. Another thing I think might help me is to ear tag these goats. People don't tend to steal livestock that's already ear tagged because they think it's registered, it's tracked and all that. And it is a lot of the times. But these 8 goats, these 8 girls that were born, I never did ear tag them. And I remember in videos, I don't know, several months back, I mentioned that I needed to ear tag those goats. I still haven't. It's unfortunate. I should have already done this. So that's probably going to be one of my next videos. I'm going to have to come out here and air tag these goats. Like that right there. I keep calling, this is actually York. I keep calling this goat right here that looks just like her York. That's actually Trixie. Some of y'all may have realized that already. This is York. She's 3 years old, 4 years old almost. That's Trixie. She's almost 2. Well, she's 1.5. Can y'all cry and yell at me when someone stops on the road? If that's what it is. Ginger, you always got a smile on your face. UPS guy. More packaging. Okay, y'all, so that's gonna wrap this video up. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick video. I am gonna be more vigilant out here. The cameras I have back where I hunt, I don't think are good enough to do what I'm wanting to do. So I'm probably gonna have to go try to find some, buy some new ones, possibly. Which it's right before hunting season, so they're gonna be overpriced, I'm sure, so. But these goats out here do look good right now. They are healthy. I have been feeding them slightly, just a little bit. Like you saw 1 scoop for all these goats, that's not much. I don't want to give them too much protein all at once. It's not good for their gut. So, but they will get more and more grain as the days go by. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the decline of this grass and why we cut and all that. So hopefully you guys will be looking forward to that video as well. All right, we'll see you on the next video. Remember, do the good.
Fowler family farm. Come along and ride with us through this life's journey we go through at the Fowler